Hi, my name is Arden Hills, and this is my character presentation for English 100. During this presentation, I will be discussing the relationship between Troy Maxson and other characters in August Wilson's Fences. First, I will present my thesis to you, and then I will work my way through the following aspects. First, I will discuss Troy Maxson's history, his traumatic childhood, as well as his youth and early adult years. Next, I will look at the first prominent relationship in the play, Troy and Rose. I will follow this by discussing his relationship with his son Corey. After discussing these two main relationships in the play, I will investigate the other characters, Troy and his first son Lyons, as well as Troy and some other supporting characters. I will then conclude my presentation by drawing back to my thesis. First, I would like to present my thesis. Troy Maxson from August Wilson's Fences is a very complicated protagonist who, although he tries to do right by his family, is clearly flawed. His struggle with systemic racism, past failures, and a traumatic childhood takes a toll on his family relationships. Generational trauma is a prominent theme in August Wilson's Fences. Troy Maxson grew up in a large, unhappy family. He explains to his son Lyons that he wishes he had never met his own father. His father never cared about his children and only ever wanted them around to work and make money. His mother abandoned them when he was young, promising to come back for him but never returning, and his father was so unpleasant and mean that any other woman to enter the picture did not stay around long. To Troy, his father symbolizes the devil. He was an angry, violent man who hurt everyone around him. This is solidified in his mind when his father catches him with a girl and proceeds to assault her. Troy, at this point, is forced to grow up at the age of just 14 and proceeds to leave home to find a better life. Unfortunately, even though he escaped the farm his family lived on, he now faced a world that would not accept him due to his skin color. He was forced to live in makeshift homes in outcast communities and was unable to find work. He was forced to rob people to get money for food to survive. After getting caught during a robbery, he was arrested and spent time in jail. During his time in jail is when Troy discovered his love and talent for baseball. After getting out of jail, he met his wife Rose and pursued a baseball career. Again, he would be confronted with the barriers of racism. Although he is described over and over during the play that he was a very skilled baseball player, he was ahead of his time. Because of his skin color, he was not given the same opportunity to advance his career. Troy was forced to choose between his dream career and the responsibility of caring for his family. He, of course, not wanting to be anything like his father, chose to abandon baseball to provide for his son and his wife, Rose. Troy and Rose's relationship is one of the most prominent in the play, and where we, the audience, see some of the biggest fallout due to Troy's flaws. Early on in the play, their relationship truly shows how much Troy cares about his family. We get to see them joke and laugh with one another, and although Rose still takes on the expected role of a wife for the time, their banter shows that Troy is capable of growing and changing with the times. We get to see Troy's softer side through his interactions with Rose as she forces truth into his exaggerated stories. When the truth comes out that Troy has been unfaithful towards her and is having a child with another woman, we witness a transition in their relationship. Rose had dedicated her entire life to being his wife. She had also given up on her own dreams to build their family, and he was completely blind to that. Due to his upbringing, as well as the barriers that prevented him from having a successful career, he fully viewed his family as a responsibility rather than a team. He never saw Rose as an equal partner who he could lean on and confide in when he felt oppressed, and instead found comfort in another woman. After this point, the relationship is never the same as far as the audience is aware. I believe this confrontation was the tipping point for how his other relationships turned out. Another very important relationship in Fences is that between Troy and his son Corey. Corey is very much a reflection of Troy and demonstrates generational trauma throughout the play. Corey is a high school student who is recognized for his talent as a football player. Very early on, we learn that he is being recruited by a university football team. This opportunity would allow him to get higher education, and if football didn't work out, he would still be able to get a good paying job. However, due to Troy's experience with pursuing a career in sports as a black man, he takes it upon himself to prevent it from happening. Although his intentions were good, he thought he was protecting his son from being hurt the same way he was. All it does is push Corey away and cause a huge rift in their relationship. When Troy talks about his own father, he refers to him as the devil. This insinuates that he does not want to be anything like his father in the way he cares for his family. However, we learn after Troy's death that Corey was afraid of his father the same way Troy was afraid of his. Lyons is Troy's son he had with another woman prior to being arrested. I believe Lyons reflects what Troy's life may have been like had he chosen baseball over Rose. Lyons follows his dreams and does not let societal norms deter him. Troy refuses to see Lyons perform with his band and doesn't believe he can be successful playing music. This may be Troy's way of not accepting that it is possible for people like him to be successful in careers that they enjoy or may not be realistic to everyone. However, even though Lyons is successful in his music career, because he chooses to pursue music, it results in his partner leaving him by the end of the play. This shows what Troy's life may have been like had he chosen to pursue baseball. Finally, I would like to quickly discuss the three other characters we see Troy build a relationship with, starting with his brother Gabriel. I believe this relationship resembles Troy's guilt. After Gabriel suffers a brain injury in the army, Troy uses the money given to him by the government to put a roof over his family's head. Even though he cares for Gabriel and doesn't just abandon him, he still feels guilty for using that money for himself. We see a softer side of Troy when he interacts with his brother and see that he is truly a kind-hearted person. Bono is Troy's best friend. Through their relationship, we learn about Troy's history and learn about his baseball career. Bono is a source for Troy to relive his glory days, but he also seems to be a voice of reason for Troy. Multiple times throughout the play, he attempts to remind Troy how much Rose loves him and what a good life he has and that he should recognize that. When we learn that Troy was ultimately unfaithful to Rose, we also see the end of his relationship with Bono. Lastly, Raynell is Troy's daughter that he had with the woman he cheated on Rose with. Although we do not get to see Troy interact with her much, we do get one scene of him talking to the baby that I think shows something important. I think that Troy's speech to Raynell in Act 2, Scene 3 shows that Troy wants to do right by her and be a good father. Although we still see that fallout between Troy and Corey after this scene, I think this speech also shows the possibility for change and growth for Troy as a person. To conclude, Troy Maxson is clearly a very flawed person who carries his traumatic past with him as a father and husband. He cannot let go of his past and views his father as a representation of the devil, and baseball symbolizes death throughout the play. These two major factors of his past represent nothing but negativity to him. He believes he is doing what is best for his family, but is actually passing on his trauma to them through the choices he makes. He fears his son Corey will be hurt the same way he was, and so prevents him from even trying. He views his family as a responsibility rather than a family unit. By not seeing Rose as a partner, he betrays her and ends up hurting her. Troy's death represents an opportunity for change. When Corey voices his concerns of his childhood to Rose, she accuses him of being just like Troy. Corey, just like Troy, doesn't want to be like his father, and Rose explains to him that he shouldn't hold that against his father, but it is up to him to make that change. Troy Maxson, although he thought he was doing the best for his family, he allowed his traumatic past to negatively impact all of his relationships.